In this video, I'm going to show you how to handle raising an exponent that's actually an expression using Desmos. This is also how you need to do it in Khan Academy, and also how to use the wrench setting of Desmos in order to set up our screen so that we can actually see points that have got such a wide range. So what we've got here is a geometric sequence. We've got three different opinions of what the explicit formula might be. So we're going to use Desmos to find out who's right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by just putting these points into a table so that I can see them graphed on Desmos. So I'm going to click the plus and add a table. And this is my first, second, third, and fourth term. So I'm just going to do first, second, third, fourth, set up my table, and go ahead and type them in. I've got 20, 80, 320, and 1280. So when I look over here, my points should be graphed, but my graph is nowhere close. Now I can just say, all right, let's just zoom out some. And I can zoom out. Now I can see two of them. If I have to keep zooming out, all of a sudden it just looks like everybody's on the same line and I still don't have my last point in. So that's not really helpful. So I'm going to click the home to go back to a normal screen. And then I'm going to use this little wrench button so I can see all four of my points. So when I click this wrench button, it's going to give me a place where I can enter my domain and my range, or my X values and my Y values, to cover all of this. So I'm going to look at this table. In my domain, my X values go from 1 to 4. So I'm going to set it up 0 to 5. So just a little before and a little after. And then my range, or my Y values, go from 20 to 1280. So I'm going to set it up from 10 to 1290. And what that does is that gives me all four of my points separated out to where I can actually see them and work with them. So now that I've got my Desmos set up, I'm going to look at each of the different formulas to see which ones actually incorporate these 4 points. So we're going to start with Rachel. Now Rachel is given an explicit formula. Desmos can't handle the a sub n's. They need equations to go x, y. So we're going to just set up Rachel's formula as y equals 20 parentheses 4 parentheses. Now here's where it gets a little sketchy with Desmos. If I try and do the shift 6 to raise it to the power, if I try and do x minus 1, notice how it only did the x and then it dropped back down. So that doesn't work. What you have to do instead is just on the normal level, do x minus 1, and then highlight the x minus 1. And while it's highlighted, you can do shift 6, and that'll bring the whole thing up. Now, when we do that, you can see that Rachel's formula goes straight through all 4 points. So we know her formula is correct. So now let's try Thomas. Again, using the y equals equation, we've got 5 parentheses 4 raised to the power of x. Now, the thing is, I can't really tell for sure what happened to Rachel's line. I can see Thomas's line is red. I'm going to go ahead and turn off Rachel's line and turn off Thomas's and just turn on Thomas's. And I can see for sure that his line also goes through all 4 points perfectly. So now let's see what Brad has going on. Brad's equation is y equals 20 parentheses 4 raised to the power of x. And when I do that, I'm going to turn off Thomas's line. I can see for sure that Brad is not close on his formula. So the answer is Rachel and Thomas are both correct.